The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tottenham Away, the best place to be on a Monday night. How you doing? How are you? Hope you're well. Hope you're good. It is so hot here in London. It's disgusting. This isn't normal heat. We complain when it rains. We complain when it's cold. But this heat it's awful, man. I mean, I can just about breathe. I hope you guys are well. Smash the like. Hit the notification bell. Subscribe. Any comments or anything you'd like us to talk about, post it in the comment section. If you desperately want us to talk about what you want to raise or discuss, then get your super chats in. They always take the priority. Other than that, I hope you're all well. JP, how hot is it over in your part of London? It's in North London. It's
hot. Yeah, it's cool, man, because like Wimbledon's near here, so it's had a scorching day today. Been watching a bit of it on telly.
What's it like without the line guard, whatever he's bloody called, the umpire?
No, they've got umpires.
They got them there. What's that thing I heard on the news that they got rid of some line watchers or whatever it was, and it's not the same?
Oh, the call, the line callers. Yeah. There's a machine now, isn't it? It's AI, baby. AI, baby.
Let's hope it's not as slow as VAR.
No, kind of. They have had the service within a box, kind of like replay for like quite a while now.
Yeah,
and that,
yeah.
Works like a dream. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it's nice and warm. I'm never ever going to complain the fact that it's warm, even though I feel like a bit of a chocolate Malteser. But do you know what?
Oh my God!
What I will say is, for all of you guys, look, you have to come and get this. Look. I'll be running round Woolwich with my European Cup singing, I've got a trophy, haven't you? Get it on the Tottenham Away site.
Yeah, if anyone wants to buy that shirt, I do believe we've got a link. There it is. The Tottenham Away merch store. Go and get your anti-Woolwich merch.
Yep.
Carefully designed by JP. Go and check it out. I'll put it in the comment section as well. Maz, how you doing?
Yeah.
Where are you? Are you Essex or Hertfordshire?
Yeah, Essex way, north, just on the outskirts of London, northeast London.
Hot?
It's hot. 31 degrees in this room at the moment, so it says.
Yeah, I'm already drinking the water. I'm absolutely cooked. Marius wants to know how much that shirt is, JP. I mean, go on the shop.
Or something. It's not
for you, double the price.
We should do what Spurs do. There's one kit price, then there's an even higher kit price.
Oh yeah. I should have a special YouTube owners version.
Yeah, there's the Tottenham replica jersey, then there's the elite replica jersey.
I think they're about 20 quid, Marius.
20 quid, Mario, plus post and packaging, I'm guessing.
Yep.
There's three different shirts, by the way. There's one Rocky Bilbao. There's the Woolwich one. There's a few. Well, that said, merch and hot weather.
That's way more important than anything else that's happening at our club.
I think that's done for this week.
Well,
good show, everyone.
Everyone's been
Thanks for tuning in again.
It doesn't start till the 1st of July, so.
I mean, look, we're clutching at straws this week because the only thing we're going to go off of is gossip, so-called sources, and everything that I despise, which is journalism that just peddles nonsense chat. But that's as good as we've got at the moment. Because we're not doing anything since we signed. The last player we signed was Oliver Boost. 16-year-old, or was it the Japanese kid? One of the two. I think it was
No,
this one.
No, he was the last one, I think.
It was Oliver. So, in fact, hold on. Let's do a quick refresher. July the 1st, which is tomorrow, means that Matthias Tell's transfer from Bayern Munich will become official, costing 29 million, 35 million euros, plus potential 4 million add-ons. Kevin Danzo's 21 million pound move to Tottenham from Lens. So those two will be official. So that's 21 million plus 30 million. That's 51 million. Then we've got this kid who we don't know the price of, plus the 5 million pound Japanese kid. So we've
blown 60 odd million, 55, 60 odd million so far, and we haven't improved the squad.
We've made our squad worse.
In fact, signing generational Werner has made us worse because he's now permanent.
I agree. I think by signing Tell and Ben Davies, we are worse. We haven't improved.
Well, there's even no excitement or euphoria around it, is it? Because you go, okay, well, you know them, and you know they're crap. So there's no interest generated out of them either.
It's
JP. There's nothing going on. I mean, look, I'll tell you what we apparently know, but again, it's all gossip, right? Apparently we're after this guy, Hayden Hackney. 23-year-old plays for Middlesbrough in the Championship. Tottenham watched him in action last season, and a deal could be done for around 20 to 25 million. Now, apparently he is actually good.
Palace are after nicking him, though.
Well, I think Palace. I mean, look.
Here's my problem with all.
Forget whether he's good or not, right? Let's say he is good. Let's say he's good. Is this what we want to be doing as a club?
No, but this
he's going to be on low wages, right? He's going to be on really low wages.
This is my problem with all of these rumours and stuff. I thought that this was the springboard to win. We want to win the Champions League and the Premier League, right? And all of this. Why are we signing these level of players? If we were signing this level of players under Andrew when he first came, you could sort of understand it. Maybe he knows something that we don't on these players. He's building a squad for the future, blah, blah, blah. But we're 2 years into this so-called reset project that we're meant to be building upon now. And we're going after players that wouldn't make any other Champions League squad, let's be honest. And I'm seeing that we're getting linked now with Kudus. And don't get me wrong, Kudus is a good player. You can see quality in him. I'm sure in a better team, he could do something. Equally, he could end up flopping when he goes to a bigger club. So, and it's, again, another gamble. How the hell are we going to compete in the Champions League plus 2 cup competitions and try and qualify for the top 6 or the Champions League places as well with the squad that we've got? We can barely win one competition and not get relegated, let alone try and compete and be up there. I just don't understand why. Again, I feel out of order for sort of blaming Frank, but I really hope that Frank isn't accepting this bollocks that's happening at the moment. I really hope he's trying to pull the strings and
he is
do
accepting
something.
it though. He is accepting it.
I think half the problem though, Stell, and I heard you saying this the other day and stuff. Obviously, Frank's covered in but if the club like Ben Davies, Tell, if the club have already done that business, he hasn't really got a choice, has he?
Yeah, and that's why I want to give him a chance. We always back the man, especially this channel. We always back our managers, aside from Andrew with me early on, right? But we always back our managers, and you want to be fair to the guy. He might come in and do a brilliant job and just prove all of us wrong, which I want him to do. I'd love to be proven wrong, as I would love to Andrew to prove everyone wrong in terms of, in the league, but he didn't. But he did win us a cup, so hey ho. But it's like accepting generational Werner for me is my Timo Werner moment from bloody last season and the season before.
Guys,
But
It's unacceptable.
It was
for
kind
me.
of done before he's turned up, Maz, right?
Yeah, but
It
we
was
had
already
we
agreed.
could have said no. This is the thing. It's
Right,
like with
JP,
Werner. Like we had
JP,
we
hold
had
on.
the first go. We saw how crap he was.
Yeah. As
Right,
a
and then we were
club,
like, yes, let's
as
get
a
him
club,
again. It's like-
as a club, 100%, I agree with you. As a club, but I don't think it's on Frank.
Frank, in my opinion, is 100% accepting this. And the reason is there is no way he was not consulted or informed as to whether or not these players would be coming to Spurs. Because as soon as we signed Tell, and I can see Badder in the chat saying we're not supporters if we think Frank's accepting this. I would say, Badder, you're not a supporter because you're in the deepest denial of your life. Go look at the comments that Frank made after we signed Tell. He's a really good player. I'm excited to have him. He can play anywhere across the front four. So he can play in any four attacking positions. He's got goals. He did exactly what Nuno, what Ange did when they joined. If it's not, we're going to make you proud. We're going to make you proud. If it's not, I know the history of this club. We're going to play selling football. Frank is doing the exact same thing all the other managers did, and he's towing the line. Go look at what Frank said about Tell. Go look at what he said. He praised him to the max. He didn't need to say that. He didn't need to say anything. The fact he did means he is now complicit. And I'm not doing this to stir it up. I'm just saying this is what we did when Ange was manager. This is how we spoke when these things happened when Ange was here.
Yeah.
And Tell signed after Frank signed, by the way. The only one you could say maybe give Frank a break on was Ben Davies, because Ben Davies re-signed before Frank signed. So maybe the Ben Davies one we can say, hold on, Frank's inherited that shit. But I struggle.
Bader's saying that we're calling him out too early. Yeah, but every manager
we're not calling out Frank. Now, we're not calling out Frank.
Him out. Every manager that saying he's another this club knows what this club is like.
It shouldn't upset you.
They know what this club is like.
Yeah, but you see, Badder, you're cherry picking. This is what frauds do. You're being a fraud. You're saying exactly on Davies. All right, what about Tell? What about the Japanese kid? What about the other player? Yeah, earlier on, you say he's not. You're hating because you love Ange. No, this is what we did with Ange. I did the same. I went ape shit on Ange when we signed Werner. First time and second time. I did the same thing.
Still, when Ange first came, he got leeway, didn't he? Because let's start a new project. It was after the Conte era. We had like caretaker managers.
But JP, we hadn't seen Bergvall play. We hadn't seen Archie Gray play. We hadn't seen Odebert play. Right? We've seen Ben Davies for 11 years. Right? We've seen Matthias Tell for the last 4 months.
We saw Timo Werner and signed him again.
Yeah, and that's when I went Ange out.
Yeah.
So I'm being consistent. I'm not
day
changing
one, right? From day one, Ange had a bit of a leeway to be able to work himself into us not liking him and us not agreeing with his style of football and stuff like that, right? He had his honeymoon period. Whereas, in a way, it seems that some people are slating him straight away when he's just walked through the door.
I'm absolutely slating Frank for accepting this shit, because I've got a chairman telling me we're going to win a Champions League and a Premier League. I've got a manager that's coming saying, I know the history of the club. Right, hold on. But Frank's comments were, I know the history of the club. I know how they want it here. They want attacking football. That's what we're going to do. Does that sound like anyone, guys? Does that remind you of anything? Have you heard anyone? It
sounds like anyone starting at a new job.
So he's copying exactly what the rest did. And that's why I said he's a yes man. The only one for me that's not a yes man was Conte. He's the only one I will say wasn't. Poch was a yes man, by the way. Poch was a yes man.
I mean, they literally all are, right? Up to a certain point. It's like every manager will come in and say, whatever club you go to, they'll come in and say, I need to see what the players there are like. You could have watched the whole of last season, and you know how shit they are, right?
But
You don't need to
Conte
come in
wasn't.
and-
Conte said, "This isn't my signing. They signed him. They wanted him." He actually said that about
After he'd
Spence.
been here a little while. That was in the January window with what's his
Yeah, but he
face?
joined. No. We signed Spence in the summer. Conte came halfway during the season. Like we did, the only two players we signed under Conte before that summer was Kulu and
Bentancur.
yeah, and those players helped him get top four.
Yeah.
Then the summer came and we got in.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to get over.
Who's that donkey at the back? Longley.
Yeah.
We signed another right back that was who did we sign? Can't remember. We signed Danjuma, Danjuma, Chicken Roy. I mean, fucking.
No. But what I'm saying,
of course he's of course.
But my point is, Conte had time to get in the door, get his feet under the table, and then react to getting signings like that, right?
And rightly so.
This chappie here.
But we've seen Ben Davies and Tell though. But JP, we've seen
we
these
have,
times.
right?
Yeah.
He's just walking in the door and he's being told, "Welcome to this club, blah blah blah. You've seen all the stuff, you said all the stuff. By the way, we've signed him. We've already got stuff on the way to sign this young Japanese kid and him, right?"
Okay. JP, can I ask you a question then? Can I ask you a question? Because I think now this argument's going to fall apart, right? Are you just so I can clarify to make sure I've understood? Are you saying Frank's only just come here? He hasn't seen Tell yet. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying Frank has just come here, and that deal has already been done, and he didn't have a choice in it. If he says no, it doesn't matter.
So why has he come out and said Tell's a really good player,
he's not
really exciting?
He's absolutely dog shit, and I don't.
No. Why does he have to say anything? Why does he have to say anything about it? He didn't say anything about Ben Davies. He didn't say anything about the Japanese kid. Why has he got to? What? No, but hold on. So why hasn't he spoken about the other players that we've signed? Why has he only spoken about Tell?
Ask him. I don't know, but I'm
asking you guys. This is the Tottenham Away podcast.
I'm assuming that he's not going to sit down there and go through everyone. But so far, that's probably the biggest sign.
We've only signed four. We've only signed four.
Yeah, but still, look, right. He's coming in. He's finding his feet. Right. He's obviously going to get, as every manager does, gets the lesson on how to be levied. So I don't expect him to talk much about the signings that have come in. Let's put it this way: if he came in all guns blazing straight away, it's not going to be a good start for him, and he's going to fail very quickly, right? So he can't do that. But like I said, I hope in the background he's kicking up a fuss because he's saying, I hope he says, "Fine, you buying these players, I'm cool with it, but I want 2 quality players that are going to strengthen that first 11, not even 2. I want 3. I think 3 for us is the minimum, right? We need another striker, a midfielder, and a replacement for Romero when he goes, because I don't think that Van der Ven, Dragusin, and Danzo is enough experience and/or quality to be our main defenders, and Fontaine. Right? You need a Yang of Tongan. You need a Ledley King. You need a marquee defender. We can't be moving backwards. And this is the point I was trying to make earlier. It's how is this building, this project? You see, Stel's so annoyed he's left, right? How is this a project, JP? Right, we're meant to be building. Ange spent 400 million quid on building this god-awful squad. He signed, was it 18? Is it 18 players he signed? 17, 18 players? Right? And out of all of them, I think maybe Maddison and Van der Ven are the ones that you would keep. Is that building a squad that they're the only 2 players that you would keep? It's awful.
But that's
absolutely awful.
That's where, because it's so choppy and changey, right? You end up with this kind of hodgepodge of players who absolutely don't make sense, right? And there's no one accountable. But
the thing is though, if the club are the ones that are signing all these players, then why aren't they signing cohesively? and building a style of squad that managers actually can work with. I mean, you can imagine Frank is coming in now and thinking, fuck, I've got so many problems in this squad. I don't think necessarily the defense is our problem, but certainly our midfield is our problem, and certainly our attacking. I mean, let's be honest. Let's take Maddison aside, because we know that he doesn't even play a whole season. Actually, a lot of our players don't really play a whole season. But let's take him out. Who are we going to rely on? What? Tell, Odegaard, Solanke and Richarlison, and Son, who's finished. Son's going to go. Maybe he won't go. Maybe if we don't sign anyone, they're going to make him stay.
See, this is it. I do think that they will make some signings, right, from now to the end of the season. It just depends on the quality of them, right? I don't see us not signing any fakes, right? But it just really depends on the quality. If they happen to go and get Kudos, you would take him, right? But if they went and got Kudos and Eze, you'd go, okay, well that's a little bit better, right? That makes us a little bit more dynamic. Kudos is a little bit unpredictable because he's got that in his game, and that's something that we've been lacking for I don't know how long. So that spices it up a little bit, right? But if you end up just having Kudos, it's flat again. Because as you said, if Maddison plays and he gets injured after, 6-7 games and then he's out for half the season again, there's a great big hole there straight away. And as for this whole, oh, you're on mute, Maz. As for this whole we're going to win the league and stuff, that conversation was such.
It is. Talk about.
I don't even know. Do you know what? Sorry, Maz. 1 second. Do you know what? Because they came out and said that together, at some point, fans now need to hold them accountable for it.
Look,
because he got away with a whole lot of shit before. Right now, they've come out, had an interview. We want to win the league and we want to win the Champions League. So you have to be held accountable.
Yeah. Look, and we were saying a lot over the last 4 or 5 years how the chairman never comes out and states his ambition. But he has now. And I'm not against him saying it. I'm not, because, again, harping on to corporate life in the past, you want your leaders to share their ambition with you and aim high and direct the whole organization towards that goal, right? I think that's really good. But your actions have to match that ambition and how you get there.
Why should they change their ways? But why should they? They've got no reason to change their ways when fans keep accepting a change of manager.
I agree.
So this fan base that wanted a change of manager now needs to reap what they have sowed.
But still, let
me finish my point. But let me finish my point. By changing the manager, the fan base is saying to Daniel Levy, another chance, another project. Be patient. Don't blame the manager yet. And we know how this ends. We know how this works. But you're seeing it now with the transfers. They're diabolical.
But still, you equate. But the thing is, you're equating keeping the manager to being this integral part of how Tottenham are operating, and I don't think it is at the moment. I think it could. It doesn't matter if he stayed or went. This would have still happened.
No, it doesn't. No, I disagree.
But because look how it's built. What? Okay. So okay. Let's say Ange stayed, right? And we've done this. These signings would have
exactly the same signing.
Right? No, they wouldn't. No, you're guessing. You're making an assumption. You're making assumptions. These are assumptions.
The probability.
There's no facts.
The probability.
No, there's no probability. It's an assumption. There's no evidence to back that up because he's gone. There's not. Though you can't say that.
Okay, but
you can't say that.
You can't say the other way either, can you?
No. But what I can say is that this manager said, right, now we need experienced players. And he's gone. Just like when Conte said, we need to start spending 60. I can't finish a word here. Just like when Conte said, I need to spend 60, 70 million on a player. He was gone. Just like when Poch said, we need to rebuild this motherfucker. He was gone. As soon as a manager at this club points out that transfers need to be at a different level, they're gone. So by tolerating the board changing the manager, we are facilitating not bringing in experienced players as per the rally cry of every previous manager. We're just repeating the loop. No one can
Right,
get away
so-
from that argument.
But you're backing that manager. You're backing that manager, right? Who, when he first came in, right, he was happy with the level of signings that he brought in. Then he was unhappy.
I think
Then
he just
said
played the
didn't
game.
need-
I think
then
he just played the
needed
game,
to-
Maz.
Then he needed to change the front three. Then he signed Werner, right? Then he was
He
rubbish.
didn't sign Werner. We know now he didn't. We know he didn't. We know it's a club signing
Right.
because he got rid of him in the Europa Cup squad. Why would you do that if you signed him? Clearly,
But then
he
he
didn't
signed
want
him again. Why would he sign him again? Yeah, but he's
Yeah,
accepting.
but then he
it.
dropped him, Maz.
Yeah, but he's accepting it.
Which is why none of you listen to anything I say. Which is why I said no, you don't. No, you don't, because I said Ange was a yes man. I've said that 1,000 times. I've never said Ange wasn't a yes man.
So
but
why
to
would
say
this
Frank
yes man-
isn't is the most is disingenuous now. And in the comments, they're being disingenuous. They're too scared to say it for what it is because it makes their argument vulnerable. I'm not like that. I'm happy to change my view and justify it. I'm happy to stick to things I've said. I still stick to the fact Ange was a yes man.
So your point that you're standing up for, it's not that you want Ange to carry on his good work. What you're saying is the fact that it's purely another manager who has been moved out of their position because they've wanted more experience and more money spent on the squad.
Because it no longer complies with the transfer criteria of the board.
So it's not Ange per se. It's just the fact that
there's another chicken.
There's another chicken that's been beheaded, really.
It's partly Ange because no other manager has proven they can win under this transfer regime other than Ange. He's the only one that's done it.
I can't believe that the ultimate yes man would have made this transfer window any different. He would have bent over and accepted anything from Spurs. He was just happy.
I don't think so. I don't think he would have done it again. I think he knew if he accepted another shabby window, he was gone. I think he knew he'd be gone within 3 months because there's no way he was going to pull it off. I think he knew.
So he probably agreed to go early then.
No, he didn't agree. He got sacked. He was fired.
50-50. You don't know.
The thing is, though, even the players he wanted.
Well, you're right. We don't know the ins and outs of the termination. We don't.
Yeah,
I agree.
Relieved.
I agree. No, you're right. I agree.
Relieved of his duties.
But look,
Mutually agreed.
Either way,
paid off. Shut up.
Board, either way, this board and can't be trusted, right? To even if they are buying the players, they're buying crap players, and that's the problem. So
exactly. That's
so I don't. I agree. Where I do agree with you, still, is the reset that happens after every manager, right? You know, you must give him a chance. That's why I'm not giving necessarily. Well, I'm going to contradict myself here. I'm not going to go against Frank because I think that's unfair. But I'm going to judge him the same way that I judged Ange. If he starts doing stupid things, lying, and so we start losing, then I want him gone. I'm not putting up with nonsense. Like I'm not putting up with nonsense signings either. Because
and that's why, Maz, when you said, you know, it's great that you're the leader of the organization, the guy at the top comes out and gives us his vision and what he wants and stuff. Like, listen, I am all for that, right? But I think all of us, everybody who would have watched that, who's been Spurs fans for years and years and years, just know it's a load of bullshit, right? Because to actually do that, you need to invest. You need to buy decent players. You need to pay the wages. And deep down, you'll know that's not going to happen, right?
Mike Zappa said the best point. It's true. It's like Levy's played the long game for so long, some can't even see it happening. And what is
exactly this?
Right, and what is disappointing is even people we know very well, who we speak a lot of football to, they're falling almost into the same trap. Right,
Maz, they all are. I've never seen anything like it. I was screamed at and yelled at and called every name under the sun for 4 weeks from people saying to me, "Frank's a coach. He can coach. We need a coach. All right, you got a coach. Oh, Levy's done it again. Look at the transfers." I'm like, hold on a minute,
because they're thinking.
Why?
They're thinking still. Sorry to interrupt, right? But they're thinking he's going to coach. He's going to be this brilliant coach, and he's going to turn what Poch did and replicate that. But Poch had brilliant fucking players there. You had bloody Yang Vertonghen
Not
there.
to start with, though, right?
Poch had the best Premier
Yeah,
League striker to come out of our academy in 100 years.
But can I say, JP,
Yeah,
even
he
in his
came.
first season when we had
Not
Bentaleb
fucking
and bloody
Solanke and
Davies,
Richarlison.
yeah,
Man.
but even in his first season when he had Davies and bloody Bentaleb as our central midfielders, right? He still got a tune at them out of them in the last 6 months of the season, and we finished 5th,
Listen,
albeit a little bit of fortune, right?
Poch,
And he got rid of them straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Adebayor, people like that. Yeah, 100%.
Pochettino did really, really, really well in the league. But if you look at our cup runs in general, it wasn't very good.
We've never had the squad though. Even with Poch though.
Right, but you see now you're falling into
Still, listen.
So Andrew's got the squad to do well in the league and win a cup, but Poch and everyone else didn't. This was my argument with Ange.
And did not have the squad to do well in all of them.
Right, so why did we want him out then? He focused on one thing and got it.
He built the squad and spent 400 million and bought 18 crap players.
Maz, do we honestly believe that the players that came in, these players were, this is what he really wanted?
He owned it.
He owned it because he played the game to not get sacked. And thank God, because if you got sacked, we might have won a trophy.
Called them up, mate, to come to this club. All the signings come through me, mate.
He
gave us some
Ange played the game well. Whereas, do you know what? If Mourinho had played the game a bit more like that, he would have got that cup final. I reckon he would have been given that cup final. I think if Mourinho didn't
say
that Dele Alli's got some kind of problem and Ndombele's dog shit.
When you look at Mourinho's form stats during the period that he was at Spurs, right, he was like second or third in form in the bloody league.
Maz, his front three was Son, Kane, and Gareth Bale. We had Johnson, Richarlison, and fucking Turbo Wiener, man.
At least Mourinho bought him in. At least he bought in a unfit Bale, and he still banged in 16 goals without even trying.
I have to ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
Last year, you honestly did say you fell out of love with Tottenham.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Because of the style of football, because of the way we were playing, because the team wasn't coached, because of all of those kind of things, right? The style of football, the high line.
That was some of the things, not all the things.
But they were the majority of the things. You even
stopped going. It was half of it. It was half of it. It was
half of it, right?
Yeah. Can I take the other half? Because that hasn't changed. It was the dog shit transfers. It was my belief that it was my belief we can't win a trophy. And it was the fan base. It was a fan base that kept accepting it. I used to go to the stadium and listen to absolute nonsense in that stadium. And also, I was fed up of fans moaning, and only 2% of the matchday fans go to the protest. That pissed me off as well. I'm like, how can we only have 2,000 out of 62,500 fans?
That is the major problem now. It's like, are fans really going to bloody wake up? And I'm not sure I can do.
No, because Frank's a coach. Everyone's going to get on board with
from people
Project
that
Frank.
don't turn up to protest and stuff like that. But people need to bloody turn up to the protest. You can't just constantly moan about the signings and stuff and not believe in getting Levy out and protesting and stuff. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Look, let's mate. All we fucking did was mention Hayden Hackney. I haven't gone through the other ones yet.
That is a symbolisation of how messed up this club is at the moment, right? We're going for the Champions League and we're going to buy Hackney, who the hell he is, right?
Do you know what? He is a good player, but
I don't care how
he's a Champions
strong,
League player.
Right? It's like great.
We're not going to beat PSG,
right? You've got generational Werner. Werner 3.0. We've got him for the next 6 seasons. We're going to see how crap he is then, right? This is not players that we should be having fighting in the bloody Champions League. When we were last doing well in the Champions League, look at our squad that we had, or at least our first 11. This is just nonsense. It really is.
Another player I want to quickly talk about. So there's been plenty of links that he's off to Real Madrid. Transfers almost done, between 55 to 65 million euros. So let's just call it 55 million British pounds. There's also been reports saying it's fake, it's not true. Others are saying no, it is true. Do you guys? Apparently as well, Frank has come out and said he really wants us to keep Romero. What do you think? For me, I don't think Romero's going to stay when he sees the likes of Ben Davies staying, Mateus Tel signing, and more kids. I think for me, if you're Romero, you don't. How can you see it progressing with the signings we're making? The signings that Frank is also telling us are really good players as well, right?
I said to you last year, Stale, when Romero came back from winning the Copa America, it came back, and the first thing he must have said was, "Why the hell's Timo Werner back here?
Yeah.
And why the hell is he getting paid way more than me when I scored more goals than him last season?"
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's going to say exactly the same thing when he comes back again now. But this time, with all the Atletico talk, I think he's gone. I think he'll force his way out. He'll be one of those players who literally refuses to come back.
Yeah, because he's got standards. Let's be honest. For his attitude, regardless of whether it stinks or not, whether or not he's always injured or whether or not it turns up, he wants to win. He wants to be in a team that wins. And he's not happy with this constant manager merry-go-round that we have at this club. He's never been happy. He got annoyed when Nino got sacked and Conte came in, didn't he? So it's just... I don't even... Look, I worry who we're going to... When he goes, who we're replacing him with.
The problem is, Maz, we'll haggle and haggle. And it'll be one of those stories that goes on the whole transfer window. And within the last 2-3 days of the transfer window shutting, he'll go. Right? And we'll be left with dough. Oh, we'll get 55, we'll get 60 million or something. Oh, Levy's done a fantastic job squeezing 60, 65 million out of them. But we're left with what? Nothing. Oh, it's all right. We've got Ashley Phillips. In saying that, though, I think the other day I went through it, right? I think we counted. We've got about...
We've also signed the Japanese centre-back, haven't we?
7 centre-backs.
Takai.
We've got roughly about 7 centre-backs. If you include all those.
But how many of them are Champions League level? That's my problem.
The one that will be leaving.
Yeah, there you go.
And Van der Ven.
This is the problem I've got with our whole squad. It's, you know, in a good team, I think Pedro Porro can mix it. In a good team, I think Udogie, when coached, he can mix it. I think Van der Ven, when coached, he will improve and get better. But that takes time, and they need brilliant players around them to uplift the levels. I can't see Frank coaching this team without good players around them, and we don't have many good players.
Because even if out of all those interviews that, you know, those interviews that were there pre-Frank joining or just after he was joining, that around him having discussions with like Urios and stuff like that, right? Even in them, when they were asking him, he was pretty much saying, I've got leaders in the dressing room, right? People I can count on. I can go and have honest conversation with some of these guys and they'll go away and speak to the players, right? Who have we got like that?
Well,
we've said all last season we don't have any leaders because Ange wanted to make leaders, not buy them.
For me, right? The only leader, I think the real, maybe Bentancur, maybe Maddison, but Maddison is just he's too childish. He's like a whiny kid. He can't be the bloody leader on the pitch, right? Bentancur's the only one, but then Bentancur loses his head as well. So it's just maybe Kulu when he grows older. He's a bit more mature than the other lads, but again,
we have no one, Maz. We have no one. Absolutely no one.
Richarlison's going to end up captain.
Who? Maddison.
Richarlison, the pigeon.
Richarlison.
All right. Well, look, we'll find out what happens with Romero. The other one I want to briefly talk about is this man here, Eze. Arsenal made contact with Eze's camp. Contacts taking place for Crystal Palace star, informed on deal conditions. Tottenham also remain keen, but then straight away in the last few hours, Tottenham have backed off from Eze. So it's clear that we're not going to get Eze.
We've tracked him for about 18 years, haven't we?
Who was that striker that we were linked with every single window?
Damio.
Eze's the new Damio. Eze is basically Damio now, isn't he? He's replaced Damio. We're going to be linked with Eze until he retires.
But we've been chasing him for a long time, right? Since he was about 15 or something.
Do you know last summer when everyone was saying we're going to get Eze, and then all the idiot journalists and sports agents came out saying, yeah, we're in talks, and I said this is all bollocks. It's the biggest load of trickery you've ever seen. Don't listen to these people. And then you get so-called smart people on podcasts saying, yeah, I've heard it from really credible sources. Those credible sources have embarrassed them. And then it started again this summer, and I remember saying, guys, we're not going to get Eze. Because for me, it's so clear what has happened now. I didn't quite understand it 2-3 weeks ago. Now I get it. Frank has been brought in to work miracles, and they think he's a miracle worker. They think he's Poch 2.0 without the talent, as in the talent of players that Poch was given, Eriksen, Wanyama, Dembele, right? Frank's a good coach. I'm not knocking him as a coach. I think he'll do well. But he's only come in to try and be a top 6 guy. He's not been brought in to win
the league or anything like that. Not with that squad.
JP, he hasn't won a sausage in his entire life. Even when he was in easy leagues, he couldn't do it. So for me, I'm convinced now he's come in to work with youngsters, to work with players that might become good, maybe not, to be a potential type manager. It's clear to me why he's come in now. This is the remit, and it's a tragedy because, again, we're not going to kick on. Again, when an opportunity presents itself, what did Iggy call it? Leveling up. We're not going to level up like this.
No.
And people can say, oh, but what if this player turns out good, and what if Frank does this, and what if Frank? Look at the player. Let me show you this, guys. Right, let me show you this.
That's all.
This
hope,
is
isn't it?
right, but this is what Liverpool have done. They've
statement.
signed Florian Wirtz, who is
That is
arguably one of the best midfielders in that position in the world right now, certainly in the top 5. Frimpong, solid, top player. Armin Psic, I don't know much about. Kirkes, he's been brilliant.
Why didn't we go? We should have got Kirkes, man. You should have just
right. So I'm looking at them. Forget the money they've spent.
No, but that's
look at the intent, right? And then Spurs are Ben Davies, Tell, this Japanese kid, this 16-year-old kid, and you got fans saying, "Give it a chance." Fuck right off, give it a chance. Have you not learned from the last 6 years how this plays out? Frank is being set up to fail, guys, and he's accepting it. So,
well, I think for me, and
fans will turn on Frank in the end, guys. In the end, fans will turn on Frank.
Of
course they will.
Still, do you remember I remember having a conversation with you, right? And you said to me, if Ange leaves, or if Ange gets fired, the fan base will go mad. And I said to you, no, they won't.
No, you were right.
We'll just go through the cycle again.
Yeah,
we'll go through the cycle again, and we'll go through the cycle again, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again.
What I find annoying, and I say this every single show, and I'll probably say it until my deathbed, is Conte gave us a bloody blueprint, and it's obvious. You buy 2 60 to 70 million pound players every window. We don't have to go and spend 400 million pounds in a short order. You can just buy 1 or 2 every single window. Stagger it out if you need to. Build the squad. When you buy these top players, the other top players want to stay and play with them, but we don't. So now our top one, we only got 1 top player, wants to leave. Maddison, I think Maddison, if I was him, will want to go. Well, why is he going to stay? I don't know why Maddison would want to stay, to be honest. But maybe there's no opportunity for him to go anywhere, so that's why maybe he'll stay. But I think
he's staying because he's guaranteed Champions League football, Maz.
I don't think anyone else will.
True. Arsenal aren't going to buy him. City aren't going to buy him. Liverpool aren't going to buy him. Who else in the Champions League? Chelsea aren't going to buy him. Is it Newcastle?
Liverpool.
I think
it's one other team.
To be honest,
no. Well, Newcastle have got with him. They might. I just think Frank has come in here to make us. Basically, we're going to go back to the Martin Joel AVB days. Top 6, top 5, top 6, top 5, maybe quarterfinal of a cup, and that's going to be us. And fans will kind of weirdly accept it.
Last season, we were saying, literally, if there was a different coach at this club, with the players that he's got right there and a different system, you'd get more out of them. And I think he will, right?
So why are fans
Now-
going crazy over the transfers then?
It's not winning the league, but it's not being 17th, right?
Yeah, but JP,
That's
why are
what you're
fans
gonna
getting
get.
angry? Okay, so why are YouTubers going apeshit over the transfers then and calling out Levy? If Frank is going to get a better tune out of this squad, can everyone just shut up and let him coach? But we know that's not how it's going to work, which is why we're saying this.
To play devil's advocate, all I can imagine is the fact that if he gets to coach and if he gets to coach better players, Tottenham will be in a better place.
Who's he going to coach to score 20 goals a season?
What out of who we've got?
Anyone in the club. you anyone in the club, you pick. You tell me.
Scarlett.
Fucking hell.
He's going to coach Richie to be the real R9.
He's going to coach Richie to stand on his feet.
Not one player in this team has ever scored 20 or more Premier League goals in the season. Not one.
All right, okay. If he plays a different formation,
If we play tapping football, Johnson's got a chance. If we play
Solanke-
tapping football,
with Solanke
Johnson can do
more
it.
as a striker, then potentially he could get 20 goals.
He's never done it.
That would be so funny. Imagine Frank just carries on handball and all we do is just like go to the byline, cross it in just for tapping because that's the only way we can score.
Johnson again, ole, ole.
It worked last season, Maz, right? Why change it?
Oh, man.
I'm just saying, like you look at this team, and I honestly don't see. Son is on the decline, right? He's almost done. Solanke's not that guy. Richarlison he's a clown of a player. Johnson has got, let's say, goals in him, but it's a very specific type of goal. It's almost a one-trick pony.
If we don't play that style of football, he ain't getting goals.
Right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, agree. Tell has never proven it. Odebert has never proven it. Now we're stuck. Where's the guys that are going to get these goals? Because at Brentford, he had Mbeumo and Wissa, who are far better than anything we've got in our front three. Do you agree that Wissa and Mbeumo start for Spurs with this current squad that we've got?
Yep.
100%. Oh,
Right.
easy. It's not even easy.
Yeah, stupid question, really. So how's he going to coach? I just don't see how this is. I think he will coach the wing backs to be actual wing backs, and I think he'll coach the defense to be more solid and not so exposed on counterattacks. That I've got confidence in, Frank. The midfield, I don't know. I'm looking forward to see what happens. But the front four is fucking tragic.
Do you
It's
think
the worst I've ever seen at Spurs. I've never even when we were shit. Even
we
when we
still
were
had
shit,
better forwards? Yeah.
we had a Ginola or we had a
Anderson,
Bale,
at least.
and we had something. We've got nothing. A Bale, yeah, to save it. We've got right now. We've got nothing.
Nothing.
We've got nothing.
That's why this squad is the worst configured squad I've seen at Spurs. How would they manage to win a cup?
400 million,
Amazing. Look, do you
low,
think? Okay,
so
let's move
it's a
on.
bunch of
Let's
low
move on.
wages. They're all on low wages. They're all cheap.
Do we
cheap
think?
wages.
Do we think then that Frank is going to be sort of forced to have to take a proper look at Solomon?
I think he's going to have to look at everyone.
And Yang, and these
and Brian Gill, and maybe have we sold Lascelles? So he's still on the
imagine
books?
Brian Gill makes the
Lascelles
comeback.
is gone.
Just Brian Gill's still at the club.
Yeah, Brian Gill and Reggie. He really is. He's really still at the club.
You're telling me
He
we're
had
going to
Richarlison at
see
Brentford,
generational
didn't he, for a little
Werner,
while?
Richarlison, and Gill as the front three.
Region, I mean.
And Veliz. We've still got Veliz. Do you remember him? Do you remember that donkey we signed?
But there's going to be a deal done for him soon.
He's going to coach him.
5 million.
That's what he's been bought in
5
for.
million.
He's going to coach Veliz, and he's going to be our new generational striker.
Listen, guys, right? I can say this as a coach. Right? I can say this. I can say this. You can get a group of players and coach them to be better as a team, right? You can do that. But there's limitations because at the end of the day, the team is only as good as the components, right? So the components is what will shine in the end. That's why Madrid were called Galacticos. Let's just get the best players in every position. Doesn't matter who the manager is, as long as the manager's capable, put them together, they'll win. And it tended to work. So Ange can make the team better, but there's a ceiling to that. To then break through that ceiling, it's down to individual talent, which is why clubs spend good money on top players, because that's the difference. You can't coach a team to become individual talents. You can't. You might turn Bergvall into a really good player, possibly improve Solanke's game, maybe refine the way Johnson plays and get more out of him. There's no doubt. But you ain't taking all these players that we think are shit and turning them into top players. It's not going to happen. Because I tell you what, if Frank could do that, he would be the most sought-after manager in world football. Every club would want him because they could achieve glory on the cheap because this guy could turn everyone into wine. It's not going to happen, guys. No one does that. You know?
Would you not say to an extent he's done that at Brentford as a question?
No, I think Brentford have had excellent recruitment. I think they've had really, really good recruitment. I think certainly there's some players that he's got a tune out of. There's no doubt he has. But again, JP, Brentford, mid-table, 16th, 17th, they haven't been consistent in their performances. And when you look at them in the Cups, and we can say, oh, but come on, what do you expect? Well, look what Glasner did at Palace. I expect Brentford to at least get to a semi of some kind, and he hasn't done it. So I don't think he's a crap manager, guys, or a crap coach. But there's a ceiling to just having a coach. You need more.
You need to have the players 100% to take it up to that other level. I think
that is the difference. That is the difference.
The only thing I really see him bringing to Spurs is purely not necessarily deep coaching or anything like that, but maybe getting them to play together as a bit of a team in a different formation, and him trying to use whatever he can gain, if it's 15, 10% more out of exactly what they have been giving us. But literally, that's going to take us from what? 17th to 10th.
So the thing is, JP, let's say we're harder
not
to
going to win
break
the
down.
Champions League. When we get to the quarter semis of the Carabao or the FA Cup, you're going to come up against the big boys and you're going to come up short. So literally, cups are out. It's like literally aiming for 10th and in between 10th and 6th, 10th and 5th.
He's here to get top 6. I'm telling you, he's
That's
been brought in to try and get top 6. They want us to be that top 6 club again, which I don't understand. I think we should be able to look. There's no reason why Spurs, with everything we've built, the infrastructure, the financial power, there is no excuse why we can't be a top 6 club that wins trophies as well.
There's one block,
or at least gets to finals.
And there's no reason why we can't buy half decent players like we have done in the past, and we're just not.
It's the same blocker.
Yeah, and we're just
got
not
that
though.
same
We're not
blocker
even
in the
buying
way
the
all the time.
Ericssons of old. I mean, look, I know Ericsson was a little bit of an unknown when he came, but he had like people heard of him at least. You know, he was coveted in Europe when he came by other clubs. Modric, the same was Modric. He was coveted in Europe. You know, a lot of people like this kid's going to be, the nuts. Same with Berbatov. But we're not even going after those players anymore.
I think the only thing
who's after Tell? Man United. I don't even think Man United were after bloody Tell, to be honest. Actually, I lied. They probably were because they don't really know what they're doing either. But Ellie said right in the comments, Odegaard and Tell at the start of their careers. So maybe in the future something will happen. But we're meant to be building from the legacy that Ange has left us, right? What is the point of qualifying for the Champions League and buying Championship division players and re-signing Ben Davies and signing generational Werner?
Even that Ben Davies one, do you know what pisses me off the most, right? He obviously is doing it so that he can get a little bit of coin for him. The guy's been here 10 years. We've paid his wages for 10 years. You could say, fair enough, he's been a servant or whatever for 10 years. Frigging let him go on a free to Wrexham, will you? What are you trying to get £1 million for him or something like that? What is the point of that?
Because Ben Davies doesn't cost a lot of wages. Ben Davies will do as he's told. He's happy to sit on the bench. He won't cause trouble. He won't disrupt the dressing room.
Hey, but I just think
Ben Davies is your perfect employee that doesn't really get you results, but if someone's sick, he'll always be there to cover the position. That's what Ben Davies is. He's your your spare keys. You lose your keys and you're fucked. Oh, there's Ben Davies over there. Just for now, until we fix the battery and the real keys. And he'll always be there. He'll always be there for you.
Wow. Just a waste. Just a waste.
I've got another player to talk about. Right.
Pick up everyone from the Sava raid.
Oh yeah, big up. Thank you, Sava, for the raid. Appreciate it. This player. Tottenham have genuine interest in Mohamed Kudus. He's high on the list this summer. Notice the word interest, guys. These are the words that they spin. Interest. Initial contacts took place with his new agents, while there's a lot more clubs involved. And then there was another report saying there's an £85 million clause for Premier League clubs, but feeling within Spurs is West Ham might sanction a £60 million sale. Kudus has also been offered to Chelsea, and Al Nazir retain an interest. £120 million Saudi clause exists. So I want to. My worry is what we're doing right now is there's marquee players that we know would be so good for us. The Mbuemos, the Ezes.
I was getting lower, isn't it?
Yeah. And we did this when we signed Solanke, marquee signing. And it's like, Richarlison, marquee signing. It's like, oh. I feel we're doing it again, where we're going to end up with either Kudus or Semedo, which is probably better than what we've got, if I'm honest with you. But this is where the most of the budget's going to go, and it's just going to feel massively underwhelming again because it's nothing marquee. I mean, Kudus massively dropped off this season, like really badly dropped off, and Semedo, he kind of dropped off a bit as well, maybe not as much, but. Is that really? Are they I think we'd all agree, we'd accept them because it's better than Tell, Oddberts, and all this nonsense. But are you guys excited if we sign one of them two? Is it someone that would get you off your seat and say, yes, fucking yeah, got him?
Look, I'm not going to say no to Kudus because I think he's better than what we sort of currently got. But I worry about his consistency. I mean, I don't think he had a good season last year.
I didn't.
You know, and that means he had one decent season the year before.
It was also the manager, though, wasn't it? And
yeah, I know.
Fallouts and different styles of football.
Look, my biggest worry now when we sign these players with potential is they don't have that experience quality around them to garner that potential. A prime example, when we got Ali, he looked to his left, he had Dembele. He looked to his right, he had Eriksen. He looked in front of him, he had Kane and Son. He had Lucas Moura, and Lucas Moura, okay, fine, was inconsistent, but he's still a good player. You know, who's he got now? Who have we got now for these players to, when they come into the team, they look around them and what they're going to see? Generational Werner, who can't take on his man, can't pass, can't shoot, doesn't even know when the ball hits him for it to be a goal. Right? Odegaard, who gets injured every 5 minutes. He's the only one that you think maybe something happens with him. Maybe he could do something. But again, I'm not holding my breath. Solanke, he runs hard. He doesn't look to me like a clinical striker at all. Like you said, Richie's always on the floor. Who's he looking to? Bentancur? Yeah, for me, I think Bentancur last season, considering the injury he had, I think done okay. All things considered, he done okay. But no one was great last season. So, I don't know, man. I think we're in big trouble. I just don't see the quality in the squad. I don't see that those couple of players that uplift the squad. Kane, he would be quiet in the game, but then he'll do something and score a brilliant goal and wake the team up. Son, back in his day, he would make he would do something incredible or beat a couple of players and uplift the team. Eriksen would turn it on and start finding through balls and stuff like that back in the day. Dembele would boss the midfield. We don't have anyone that can do that. No
I think
one.
that's the level we've got to, right, Maz? If we want players maybe better than Kudos, better than Eze's and stuff like that, I think we have to be honest with ourselves and go, they ain't coming. Like, why would they come? Right?
No,
Just to play in the Champions League. But we're
in
gonna,
Mbeumo, I think should be achievable for a club like Tottenham.
it should be achievable if you get
Eze
paid
should be
wages.
achievable. You know, I get it. I'm not expect. We've never been that club that's going to go and buy like this coveted. You know, gone were the days when we got Klinsmann in, and even you know Van der Vaart. But we should be able to cherry pick those players just below them. We talked about this so many times. That level just below, like Van der Ven is a good example of that. He is a good defender. He has.
Hey, look, Maz, look, Destiny.
He came as an unknown, though, didn't he?
Look, Destiny lists the kind of players we're talking about. So Mitoma, winger at Brighton, Robinson, wing back at Fulham, Paulinho, currently at Bayern Munich, was at Fulham at 6. These are the kind of players that we believe this club minimum should be attractive.
Minimum.
I'd say they're achievable, right?
And they're all better than what we've got.
Yeah.
But
or at least
Paulinho,
challenge to go in that. Paulinho will definitely go in this. No question, he'll be in the team.
Yeah. But
the others, at least they'll challenge.
Paulinho arguably would become
Munich,
the best
I assume he's
midfielder in
going
the
to be on
club.
a bigger wage, right?
I think he'd be the best midfielder in the club if we signed him.
Yeah.
Barry Maddison needs to be
Yeah.
more match fit.
But what I'm saying still is if we get him from Bayern Munich, he's going to be on a bigger wage. So already which
is why we won't get him. Which is why we
structure thing absolutely annihilates any of those players there. Your Eze's, your Burmos, people like that. It just takes all of them out of the equation to me.
By the way, Dope Boy Jr., there is no way in hell that Kudos is better than Mitoma. No chance.
Matoma is very consistent as well.
I think Matoma's more consistent, and he's definitely got a better eye for the ball. Kudos is like your unpredictable person, isn't he? You don't know if he's going to go left, is he going to go right, is he going to try a trick, is he going to?
I think Matoma has been one of the best wide players in the league for a couple of years now. He's consistently.
He can score a goal as well, though, can't he?
Do you remember that goal? I don't know who it was against. It came over his shoulder, and his first touch on the toe controlled it, went past the player, sent the player the wrong way, then smashed into the bottom corner. Yeah. That goal was absolute world class. You know that. Yeah. He's a very, very good player. Do you know what?
Very, very good.
Mitoma for me is the kind of player. If he went to a Big Six club in that environment with those types of players, he's the kind of player that would go to the next level. A bit like Kvaratskhelia. He was a good player. By the way, I'm not saying Mitoma's like Kvaratskhelia, but Kvaratskhelia was a good player. But then when he went to Napoli, he became complete different level. Once I think he's a player that would excel in a. Saying that, maybe Kudos could as well. Maybe Kudos could. I'd take Mitoma though all day long.
Still goes back to what Maz says though, right? In terms of yes, it'd be good to get those players, and yes, we do need a better coaching manager who can tell them what to do, talk to them and stuff, as opposed to just playing that one way, and someone to be able to change it about and stuff. So I think Thomas Frank will give us all of that. But you also do need that little bit of experience next to you, right? When you do come to a bigger club, if you take that step up, you want to look around that club and go, oh wow. You want to be in that little bit of awe, don't you? As opposed to just coming in and going, oh, you got him, oh, you got him, you got him. All right, kind of like my place is done in there. I'm like guaranteed every week, and then he doesn't really push himself, whoever that player is.
Do you know what's just so frustrating? Next season's going to be harder than last season because the league has got better. The top 4 teams are obviously improving. Zubimendi, who Arsenal signed, is a top player. Anyone who's downplaying it, listen, Zubimendi is quality. He's arguably one of the best players in that position in world football. There's a reason Spain won the Euros when he came on against England. There's a reason. Yeah.
Has Turkey been signed by anyone yet? Is he still
Man City, isn't it?
Man City.
Is he gone Man City?
He's gone to Man City.
Yeah. So, mate, look who Man City have signed. Look who Liverpool signed. Look who Arsenal have signed so far. You know Arsenal are going to land a big striker of some sort. They're going to get someone in.
So that's top 4 out, right?
We're going to end up with Garnacho. You watch.
So the top 4 is
Top 4 is
harder
out.
now than last season based on the squad we've got. Then you look at the domestic cups. Right, the big 6 will be in those semi-finals there and thereabouts. Are we with the players we haven't signed? And then as for Europe, mate, we're going to get battered in the Champions League with the current squad. They're not at the level.
He don't even fall back to the Europa anymore.
Yeah, that's it. There's no dropout into other competitions. So if we don't sign Mbeumo's, Mitoma's, Eze's, and these types of players, how are we going to do it? I don't buy the notion Frank can coach. I just think it's such a simplistic answer to everything.
I think Frank can coach, and I'm sure that he's going to get more out of, let's say, Spence and Udogie and stuff like that. But I don't think he's going to. I don't think you can have such a transformational season.
He's
like
suddenly
that,
not going to
where everyone just
start us
becomes,
attacking, playing great
yeah,
football.
and I think to blow £40 million or £35 million on Tel, when that money could be used against the Semenyo signing, against the Neze signing, against the Mbeumo signing. Why do we do this every time? Because we're once again we're blocking pathways to the players that we already got in the squad, like the Mikey Moores, like the Donnellys and stuff like that, by buying Tel. I'd rather give those boys a chance than sink 35 million into Tel.
So
and then
so
put all your money into those quality
right?
players.
So here's the thing, right? Now we're going back 2 years ago when Ange first came. By the way, Jamie, big up for the super chat. You guys are massively underrating Kudos. Jamie, we said about 10 minutes ago we would take Kudos at Spurs. If we signed him, we would take him. Right? So we're not underestimating
him. I think we were probably putting him up against Mitoma, and taking Mitoma's probably that little bit.
I think Mitoma's better.
Kind of
I think he's a better footballer
than him.
See, we're going back to pre-Ange now. When we said Ange's first season was a free hit. If there was a time to do Project Youth, you do it then. You come out and you say to the fans in some kind of statement, we're rebuilding. We're going for a youth ground-up approach with some experienced players to support, and we're on a 3-4 year project, whatever it may be. And then he gives a lot of game time to the youngsters, and that's how you find out if they're good enough. No one knows if our youngsters are good enough until they play regular minutes. No one knew Gareth Bale was good enough until he played 10 games in a row under Redknapp, right? So we've missed that boat now. that boat has sailed because no fan.
You have to have the luxury to be able to play him 10 games and have the other side of your squad or the other side of the team.
See, I think it's a mistake.
JP, the luxury is you have to be prepared to finish mid-table for a couple of years in a row.
If you want to play all of them as kids, yeah, of course.
Or even 4 or 5 kids, JP. You know, I go back to when Arsenal signed Arteta and he played Smith Rowe, Maitland Miles, Joe Willock, Saka. There's a couple. There's another one as well,
and stuff like that, weren't they?
They went on a rocky road, and then in the end, 2 survived. The rest got binned off, and they said, "You know what? Just replace the whole squad." And then everyone they then brought in, only one player survived, Saka. He was the only one that survived in the end. So even that Project Youth was a bit disingenuous. But if you're going to do it, you've got to sacrifice 2 years.
But why are we doing it now, though? But this is what I'm.
We're not doing it now.
About.
But
if we're saying Frank is coming in, well, we don't really know that.
Maz, these kids aren't going to play. They're not going to play. Let me ask you this: who's going to start for Spurs at centre back? Maz, who's going to start at centre back next season?
I think it will be Van der Ven and Danzo.
Right, so no kids. Who's going to start left back and right back?
Doji and Porro.
Right, no kids. Who's going to start in midfield?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be integrated. That's when
do you play them? In the Premier League? In the Champions League?
I don't know. All I'm saying is, judging by who we've signed, so far we've signed more kids. Correct?
Yeah,
but kids last year, kids this year. He's a coach. generational Werner's going to come in and light up the league, right?
I think we
serious.
might see some young players in the wide areas in the attack, but that's it. I do not see how Spurs can bed in all these youngsters unless they take a massive league hit. But if we take a league hit, it'll be Frank out. The noise will be Frank.
I'm not saying that we should. All I'm saying is if that is their plan, that I'm really annoyed because, again, we should be building off what has happened in the past. I hope when Ange came in, he's like, I'm here for a project, mate. I'm going to rebuild this club and set him off on this path. They'll be better than ever were before, since before I came and all that shit, right? He's gone now. And what we're doing? Starting again. That's what it feels like.
Yep. New philosophy. New director of football. New hierarchy.
Do you know what?
It's the same conversation every summer. It should never change. Can we just do
the
repeats,
wheel,
like Friends repeats? Just like
It's literally the hamster wheel. Just like...
Can we get AI just to change the name of the managers? Like just to go back and just insert manager name here every time we say it.
I said on one of the videos I did, it would be just as simple to get an AI to be the manager. You could program the AI to look up Ferguson, look up all the best managers, get that in his language model thing, give the team talk, give the instructions, have a frigging TV screen on the side of the pitch. Job done.
I can't believe we're accepting another project.
And it'd be cheaper.
Do you think there's much legs in this narrative that we don't have the money now? That went around a couple of weeks ago.
Where's this come from?
That we're skint now all of a sudden. We've gone from winning the Europa and gaining Champions League, which let's say circa gave us 80 to 100 million or whatever. I know that it comes later, but you know they can do some clever accounting and make up for it.
Maz, I'll tell you what we'll say.
And now all of a sudden that we don't have the cash or the will to go after these top players.
No, I'll tell you one thing I've noticed in the accounts over the years is the money the club is holding as a covenant to pay off transfers owed is high. We have got quite a high outstanding transfer bill. So the creditors for transfers is quite high, which means that will impact our spend. We buy a lot in installments.
Well, yeah, because the banks,
because
the
you buy
banks
everything
and
on
the
K's
thing will be
catalog,
saying, you know, you need to be able to pay back this money.
Yeah, I think it's also in the contract agreements when we sign players. But the point being is, we might have, for example, 300 million in the bank, but 270 million of that will be locked. Can't touch it because it's owed. And if you tap into it, then money you're owed.
Yeah. And you wanted your boy Ange to stay. Look what he done to us. Still.
Well, it's the way.
Remember the conversation?
No. Managers have no say in how the finances of the club are structured.
But he made us finish 17th.
Right, and he won us the Europa Cup, getting us back into the Champions League, which is the highest earning competition you can. The Champions League is the highest earning competition, which is the healthiest thing. Champions League is what makes us money.
What do you do?
But Champions League makes the money.
Can you imagine going through the whole of last season again still?
Danny's got a question. Games. Say again?
All the league games that we went to last season. Can you honestly imagine going through all of that again?
If we win a trophy, I'm all for it.
There's no guarantee of that, right?
Not with Frank, because he's not won anything, no.
There's no guarantee of it with Ange.
Ange has always won trophies.
In fact, I will say to you, it's nothing that can be proven now, but I bet you he wouldn't have won anything in his third year.
But you can't disprove it either.
He's never managed properly in the Champions League.
He's Celtic. He was in the Champions League.
He got bad.
Yeah, he got bad, but he won the league title in the same season. He's what? Listen, a winner's a winner. A winner is a winner. We dismiss it because it's just we don't like hearing it.
Because it's gone now, but there's no way I could go through the whole of last season again still. I can't do it.
it doesn't matter. He's gone.
No, yeah, exactly.
Andrew's gone. 7 says at cheaper price, Kudos isn't worth 65 million. Listen, I agree. I think it's a hell of a lot of money to pay. Danny's got a question, and apparently we need to answer it because
Danny's got a question.
They're losing their
Danny's
minds
got a
in the
question.
chat.
Danny's question time.
Where's Danny's question? Do you think Levy believes Frank can be our answer to Poch Mark II?
Yeah,
Yes, I do.
well, we said that earlier, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Levy's deluded.
He's hoping.
he's
He's
fucking
hoping
deluded.
Frank will be his number 2.0.
You can't repeat what Poch did. It can't be done unless you give the manager the weapons that Poch had. Prime Son, prime Kane.
The biggest weapon he had was Paul Mitchell.
Ericsson, the best attacking mid statistically in Europe over 2 seasons. Dembele. Did anyone control a game of football better than him at Spurs over the last 10 years? Wanyama, animalistic number 6. The best partnership we've seen at centre-back. Proper wing-backs. Danny Rose and Carl Walker. Mate, no one can do what Poch did unless you give Frank them players. Do you guys disagree? Do you think Frank can turn any of these players we've got into those types of players? Not any, but enough of them.
I think that Frank can certainly do a good job on Udogie, and certainly do a good job with Van der Ven. And Drake, and like the young guys. I say, young,
well, Van der Ven's already good. He's already a good player.
Yeah, but I think he's got a long way to go in his development. I think he can improve a lot in the defensive aspect.
Just teaching him how to defend a bit more.
Yeah, and look, he's going to get a little bit more out of certainly like Dragusin and Danto and Porro. But look, I don't think it's going to be enough. Without repeating everything I just said, in the last couple of hours, it's who the hell is he going to improve enough to make such a material difference in the squad? What, Bergvall? Is Bergvall going to turn into Ericsson?
The thing
is generational Werner going to turn into bloody, I don't know, Gareth Bale?
Can I ask you? I've got another question, right? Let's say Frank does create a generational Bale 2.0 or a Kane 3.0, whatever. How do we keep them? How do we convince those players to stay?
Well, this is it. This is the problem.
What would you say?
But the only way to do it is buy higher players, isn't it?
You need to buy quality players. So the players that are coming in have got someone to look up to. Who did they have to look up to? Maybe Bentancur, because he's won cups in Italy and now he's won a cup at Spurs. Maybe some players will look up to him. Romero's going to go, let's be honest. So they're not going to be looking to him. Who else? Son? But he's going.
He's going to be off.
Yeah, I think he'll be gone.
It's just such a problem. It really is a problem. Ange has really left us in the shit. What? Ange, Lange, Flange, the ball.
All of them.
Really left us in the shit.
We've got a super chat from Andres Holloway. By the way, big up. I've just realised who this is. I met you in the sandwich shop in North London. Big up to Sava's sandwich shop. Not Sava from YouTube, but just actually the owner. It's called Marianne now. Her surname's Sava.
Sava's Cyprus sandwich.
Yeah, it's the owner's surname. But anyway, big up to you, Andres. He said, sponsored by AIA, more like AI. Another empty project sold by Levy. I can't believe how many people have been fooled again. Do this fan base ever learn? Andres, honestly, I don't know, bro. You know what, guys? I can't stomach another project. I actually can't be. I can't be bothered. I have no care in the world for this project. None. I don't. If we do well, brilliant. I will love it. I would honestly. If this turns out to be such a great move, I will love it. And I'll be there for the finals. I'll be there for the parades. But I just, it's the reset button again, isn't it? We're hitting the reset button again. Another.
And without making anyone accountable for it.
Well, Andrew was made accountable. Like all the other managers as well. Poch was made accountable. So was Mourinho and Conte.
The accountable person needs to be the one at the top making all these wrong decisions. Because basically he's admitted that he got Andrew wrong again, right? That's another manager wrong. But more to the point now, he's come out and given us his vision. I want to win the Premier League. I want to win the Champions League. Now you need to be held accountable for it.
Well, do you know what? In some
The
ways,
fans need to hold him accountable for it. Sorry, go on.
well, there is something to hold him accountable for now, because he's come out and said, "I want to win the Premier League and the Champions League."
Can I be the ultimate flip flop though, and say that if Frank wins the Super Cup, it's going to be the best season ever. Like, the season's done for me if we win that. I don't
He's
even
already
care
won a
what happens.
tournament.
Yeah, we've won in life at that point. It's
Do you know what, Maz?
Arsenal are done. They're finished if we do. They're
Maz.
absolutely cooked.
Can I make a prediction?
Maz, do you know what? If PSG get to this World Club final, I'm sure there's only like 2 weeks until they play us.
Just hope they get loads
Or
of
3
injuries.
weeks until they play us, right? Which means their players have got to go away and have a 2-week holiday at least.
I think
got a chance,
PSG
you
can
know.
beat us in second gear.
We've got a
I think-
chance.
Do you know what? I'm going to make a prediction. We lose the Super Cup final. It's quite a bad one. And alarm bells, panic stations hit.
Oh, is it
and they
8
go,
weeks?
and they go and make a panic signing. We go and make a panic signing towards the end of August.
Messi.
And yeah, maybe Hayden Messi or Hackney Messi, whatever that guy's called. But we'll
Mr.
go and spend.
The guy's like Mr. Messi.
Yeah. For anyone too young to understand, that there's these books when we were growing up called the Mr. Men collection, and one of them was called Mr. Messi, and he wasn't Messi a footballer; he was just a messy person. 7 says we're the most delusional fan base for a reason. Yeah, we are. We are. To be fair, we are a delusional fan base.
Pretty damn delusional. Pretty damn delusional.
Guys, look, there isn't much to talk about. We are clutching for content, but as it stands now, people are saying that on the 1st of July there's a big financial reset, and that's when all the activity is going to happen, and that's when Spurs are going to do the real business, because up to now it's just, I don't know what it is.
Eze and Mbumo all lined up, man. They're all lined up. They're all waiting in the queue.
When look, before we wrap up, when is the kind of deadline for you when alarm bells ring? At what point
They're
do
ringing
you
now.
say,
They're ringing now.
Well, they are ringing now. The fact
aren't
that
they warning signs, like warning?
That
is
Tell
it-
for me
Arsenal,
is
Chelsea,
another
Liverpool.
Werner moment. It really
Arsenal,
is.
Chelsea, Liverpool have gone out and shown how to deal with a transfer window, get it done nice and early, to sort out the rest of your pre-season. We're expecting to challenge with them, right? In some perverse way.
When does the
Right.
season start? Let's
The
have a
alarm
look.
bells are ringing.
Hold on. 1 minute. Season starts. All right. So the fixtures are. Oh, what have I done here? So our first game of the season is on the 16th of August. We've got the Super Cup 3 days before.
When's pre-season though?
Pre-season begins. Our first game is against Reading on the 19th of July. So for me, I think realistically now, alarm bells ring on the 31st of July, which funnily enough, we've got a game that day against Arsenal.
19th of July is like 20 days from now, right?
Yeah. That's 3 weeks' time. I think by the end of July, if we are in a similar position, it's DEFCON 1 for me. I think we're in big trouble. Big trouble. If we haven't got at least a couple of really good players in.
I'm surprised you're so calm about Tell signing again.
Me?
Yeah.
Maz, I'm maxed out, bro. I can't stand him. I've got nothing left. What? I've argued with everyone that this is a yes man signing. I can't.
That's it. You've unloaded. No more.
He's unloaded. He's downloaded.
Listen, I don't want Tell here. I don't really want Odebert here. I don't understand how Richarlison's still at the club. I think Son needs to be moved on. Johnson to me is not good
how
enough.
about when we sign Calvert-Lewin?
If we have a front three of Calvin-Lewin, Solanke, and Richarlison, we're getting fucking relegated. All this worry of second national relegation, we will get relegated. We are going down. There's no way we'll sign him. There's no way we'll sign Calvert-Lewin.
Oh, mate, can you imagine that?
If we do, yes, to people in the chat, there will be a fucking generational emergency podcast. you won't ever see an emergency podcast like that one. If we sign Calvert-Lewin, that for me is that's actually worse than Werner. That is genuinely worse than signing Timo Werner. Really? You know, Calvert-Lewin scored no goals last season. He couldn't score a goal until he played us.
He's destined to come to Spurs.
He scored against us.
It's in the stars, isn't it?
He scored against us still.
Yes, I mean, he couldn't score until he played us.
Yeah.
Oh, it's destiny. It's happening.
Yes, C Cubed. You're right. Still never recovered from Timo. You're absolutely right. He has no energy for. I haven't. It's pointless.
Oh, big up.
And do you know what? He'll do nothing for 10 games, score a goal, and they'll be like, you see what he can do? And they'll just ignore the previous 2.5 months. And then he'll score another goal, another one, and then they'll say he's turned the corner, and then he'll shush, right? Then he tells us to shush, and everyone will be saying, tell again, ole, ole, and then he'll just do nothing for another 3 months. That's what Tell's going to do. I don't think he's a good player, man. I don't think he's the level we should have gone for. Not at that price. For 35 million, man, I think it's no different to Archie Gray, really. We spent 40 million on Gray. What did he really do? You know, he's a kid, all right.
Do you know what? Do you know what the sad thing is? That England under 21s, wasn't it? They won the Euros. He didn't even get to play in that team, right? He was tough.
That's why they won it. That's why they won it, JP.
We paid 44 million, and he's not even playing there.
That's why they won it. Because Archie Gray's on the bench. Gray comes on, free penalties.
I mean, in all fairness, right? He didn't play. He's not played in midfield. What? He's played 2 games in midfield. One against Liverpool and one against frigging.
If Frank doesn't play him, in all seriousness, if Frank doesn't play him, what does that say about him?
He's the biggest yes man ever, bigger than Ange.
No, but considering that he'd done that presentation to him and told him how he was going to fit into the Brentford team.
And he's a bigger yes man than Ange. He's another
bigger than the ultimate yes man. It's hard.
Frank will take the crown. I think we'll do a whole show on it. Who's the bigger yes man, Ange or Frank? We'll do a show. We'll do a whole 3-hour show on it. We'll argue the whole night. I do think, by the way, that Odebert, we could maybe do something with him. I think there's enough there for him to be progressed. I think he's shown bits to say, you know what, there's actually something there. Odebert's the one young player we've signed where I think there might be something, but it's might. I'm not convinced yet, but I've seen more from him than I have from, as a footballer, that is, than I've seen from Johnson.
But he's the only one who takes people on.
Tell.
Literally.
Yeah, and do you know what, JP? He has got goals in him.
Someone.
He has got goals in him. He has got the odd goal in him. I think Odebert could maybe do something, but we'll see. We're going to wrap it up, people. Thank you to Jamie. Thank you to Seven twice. Big up to Andres. I'll probably bump into you in the sandwich shop at some point again. By the way, you've got my number, Andres. If ever you want to come on, you just message me. I said I'll let you come on. Everyone in the chat tonight, thank you for watching. As always, smash like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the good stuff. We'll be back next Monday. We're just doing Mondays at the moment because there's not much to talk about. If you like JP's t-shirt and you want other merch, there's the link down below.
We'll be running down Woolwich with our European Cup singing.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I wanted to sing as well.
I
wanted to sing as well. Yeah, guys, on that note, we'll be back next week. Come and join us, 8:30 p.m. as always. And hopefully there's actually a transfer to talk about. If not, we'll just repeat this show again and
on a loop.
Talk about exactly the same things. All right, everyone, take care, look after yourselves, be good, and enjoy the hot weather. Don't get burnt.
Bye.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.